What's up everybody, it's the Unknown Man here today. In today's video we'll be discussing the current system in place for the ritual weapon and its ornaments. I will talk about my problem with the system and its possible solutions that can improve the quality of life of this current system. A quick side note, I will be talking from my perspective as a Crucible player. So for me, the Crucible wasn't that bad because no two matches were ever the same, allowing me to be in a certain headspace before and even after matches. It made time fly as I had fun at my own leisure, getting the rocket and its ornaments within a respectable amount of time. Saying what I just said, I know that I'm coming with a bias towards my preferred playlist of Crucible when talking about the other 2/3 of the pursuit for these other two ornaments. Now let us look at strikes. For me, I've been playing this game since the very beginning, and the thing is, when it comes to strikes, it's always interesting in the very beginning when it comes to doing something new and figuring out new mechanics. But when you do the same strikes over the course of years, it gets very old very quickly. Modifiers have been a thing for strikes since D1 to add some spice to their playlists. As time went on, these modifiers became more detrimental to the Guardian than to the NPC enemies to add challenges to overcome. As new strikes trickle out, they are made to hold you longer than some of the older strikes. When it comes to time taken, the game is not really quantifying how long the strike is, but it is taking into account to give you rewards based on how difficult it is. Even though one strike could be finished in 5 minutes while another could be finished in 12 on the same difficulty, they are both rewarding you the same amount of playlist XP or Valor, which might not sound so bad to some people. I'm looking at this from a time perspective. For me, I ran 29 heroic Nightfall strikes of Lake of Shadows, which ran me an average of 5 minutes, which I'm not counting player queues, load time, times I played other strikes, and the time I had to run to a tower because the postmaster ran out of space. I ran about 2.5 hours of pure strikes with no other game type to break up the monotony. Now, if I took that same example of 29 runs and had it run for 12 minutes, the entire run would be 5 hours and 48 minutes of pure gameplay. Now compare 2.5 hours to almost 6 hours, then you're looking at the same amount of XP given for both. That just sucks on paper, period. At the end, I got my second ornament for the Ascendancy rocket launcher, yay. Also that same week, Gambit was running double XP or double infamy, and I had time during that weekend, so I pursued to go after my third and final ornament for the Ascendancy rocket launcher. When playing Gambit, majority of the games were about 5.5 minutes long, and I ran 43 games straight, making it about 5 hours and 47 minutes, give or take, of pure gameplay. Wins and losses, it was 63 games just to get an ornament while playing solo. The reason why this is relevant because my time and your time isn't always appreciated when looked through a focused lens. The system in place currently for retrieving these ornaments needs to change. The biggest outliers for me was what I'm going to call the loyalty system and the change on how we got our ritual weapons and ornaments. The loyalty system, by a different name, has been a system that has been introduced since Destiny 1, with the strike playlist allowing you to gain more the longer you stayed in the playlist. This system was tweaked and brought over to Destiny 2, where you could leave the playlist to only go to the tower or other social hubs without any penalties. Playing any other activity will reset your rank. If you decide to play strikes, leaving it at a 5-game streak, then you decide to play 3 games of PvP just to spice things up, your strike streak is going back right down to 0. This system forces you to play the same game type until you decide you are done. With this thought process, the fastest way to rank up in this type of system is to stick with it until you have your ornament. Take note, to get an ornament for each of the 3 playlists, you have to rank up to Legend twice in each of the respective playlists, and which goes into my second outlier. Now it goes to show that Bungie is in the business of trying to keep player retention. And one of the main things I hear to keep players in a game is to have a good gameplay loop. With the freedom to choose the way you want to play, and to pinpoint the gear you want to target helps with this gameplay loop. Now, looking at on how they designed the method of getting these ornaments for this season's ritual weapon and future ritual weapons, this is going against their gameplay loop design. With the previous way to acquiring ornaments before the Season of the Lost, it would involve you choosing an avenue that you are most comfortable with out of the 3 playlists of Crucible, Strikes, and Gambit to acquire your ritual weapon first. After you got the weapon, each of the vendors of each playlist would offer you a quest to retrieve an exclusive ornament for their respective playlist. These quests each were short enough to get done within one sitting, but sometimes annoying enough to change your playstyle with you playing with a ritual weapon or weapon similar to it. Now I can see a change in the current system that would allow players to do other things outside the core loop of Crucible, Strikes, and Gambit. So right now, Get Into Legend for the first time in each of the 3 playlists allow you to acquire the Ascendancy rocket launcher. Getting 3 of the same rockets feels a little overkill. Now, taking that into account, the way I would do it would be something similar to how they did it before. I would have it where the first playlist where I would get Legend in, I would be able to unlock the ritual weapon in its rank up path. I could proceed normally to the next Legend rank up of that playlist and get the playlist ornament for that weapon. Now, when that weapon is first unlocked in playlist A, the other 2 playlists will have their ornaments unlocked on the first Legend rank up. In the second rank up, the ritual weapon will drop again for those who wanted it again. This in turn would have a better outcome for players' time and rewards. For me, I had time that week to push through all that content, but at the end I was burnt out after all that. This was right before 30th anniversary celebration for Destiny 2, and rightfully so. But why I know the current loyalty system isn't for the long haul, because it's currently in Dares of Eternity and acquiring the Forerunner and its catalyst. For me, it was 59 straight sessions of Dares to getting my pieces for Forerunner, and the 60th to unlocking the catalyst for the weapon. When people were claiming to play more games than I did to get the same results, just sucks. The current loyalty system needs more work to be done to get it in the right place, but I'll leave it there for now. Before I recorded this script, on January 27 of 2020 version of This Week at Bungie, they talked about not changing their streak system or loyalty system, as I said, or the placement of the weapon ornaments. They talked of tweaks to both Vanguard and Gambit, but nothing dramatic. For the ornaments, they wanted it to feel like a nice bonus to dedicated players, or for people who suffer from FOMO like myself, and I can say it doesn't feel that way to me. Also, Dares of Eternity had received an update on the 27th, also fixing its reputation rewarded. Right, fixed. Player retention. Excuse me. Well, I hope Bungie decides to reconsider their decision with the playlist reputation levels. So hopefully you were able to enjoy this content and got something out of it. So I have been your host, The Unknown Man, Black Man out. Peace.